Showtime.
The boys are back. That's right, Florida Man Sports is here with another exciting episode. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. This is Florida Man Sports.
Ladies and gents, welcome back to FM Sports.
Yes, sir.
And on this episode, Jonny Cinco, it's the World Series, folks. It's here. And also, we got a lot of Week 8 football to go over. But let's jump right into it, Johnny. No two teams, Johnny, have faced off in October as often as the Yankees and Dodgers. If you go back to the 40s, right, when the two New York teams were there.
Brooklyn.
Yes, that's right. They 11 times they have met in the postseason, Johnny. We both picked the Yankees to win this. So first question is, how many games, and what are the keys to victory for the Yankees?
Well, a couple things. Let me correct something. I did not pick the Yankees to win this. In spring training, I picked the Yankees and Dodgers to meet in the World Series, and reluctantly picked the Dodgers to go ahead and win this in 7. I still stand by that. At the end of the day, I'm not going to bore you to death when you're breaking down whether it's ERA, the WAR, whatever's going on here. I'm just kind of looking at both of these teams. The pitching, for the most part, is pretty even starting. I give a slight advantage to our bullpen. But let's make this clear. I'm not going to bore you with numbers. This series here ultimately will decide the legacy of Aaron Judge, period.
Yeah, I agree.
Mr. October was created when he faced the Dodgers in the World Series, Reggie Jackson. So everything, he became an icon from that World Series. Obviously wins it again the very next year against the same Dodgers team. But it comes down to that. So it's a three-headed monster with the Yankees against a three-headed monster in the Dodgers here. That offensive juggernauts, everybody's been talking about Ohtani and Judge, of course, but don't forget about Mookie Betts. Don't forget about Freddie Freeman. Obviously, on the Yankee side, you got Soto, and you got Stanton, who, my God, like Stanton, who frustrates every Yankee fan in the regular season, Chris, has come through so big time here in the postseason. But Aaron Judge has to do it, Chris. He has to.
It's actually literally what it's funny. We don't share our notes. We always like to tell people this, and I literally have the exact same thing in the sense that at the end of the day, this is going to be decided by Judge, in my opinion. But let me take a step back because you just reminded me of something. Because I had picked the Yankees and the Braves, and I had picked the Yankees winning, and I guess I had that in my head over and over. But now that we're here, first let's give credit to Jonny Cinco. It's very Florida Man Sports. If you listen to previous episodes, we've been able to call a lot of these things right. And so you called at the beginning before camp, right? At camp,
yeah.
You called Dodgers and Yankees. I just forgot that you called the Dodgers to win it. So I'm gonna give you an opportunity right now to wipe that slate clean. I have the Yankees in 6. Do you still want to stick with the Dodgers to win the World Series?
Listen, I hope I'm wrong. I never wanted to be more wrong than I am right now.
I could have sworn you put the Yankees in.
Listen, of course, because you hear me talk crap about the Yankees all year. Yeah. So I'm a Yankee fan. I want them to win. I want to succeed. But we had to make our picks. I made it obviously in March. But here we are. I still stand by 7-game series. Now, the Yankees do have home field advantage. The American League did win the All-Star game, so they have the home field in the World Series. That left porch is dangerous. Ohtani, Freddie Freeman, both lefties. That 320 short thing, yeah, we use it as an advantage. Think it's a home field advantage. No, the Yankees have played better on the road in the postseason. So I'm like,
I think that actually helps Judge. I was thinking about that too. Having the last few games at Dodger Stadium, I think that actually helps him. Takes the pressure off being in New York, if you will, and he can still be dynamic if he shows up.
If it takes off the pressure, that's one thing. But the problem is, it's an advantage for the Dodgers, who have the biggest left-handed bats in baseball. So, listen, Rizzo, you got to show up, bro. Too Rizzo, who's been injured, you got to come up and do your thing. Stanton has to continue what he's been doing, Judge, but ultimately still, no matter what, we'll forgive everything that Judge has done if he shows up now.
My last thing on this series, folks, and just to get your take on it, I'm going to go out there and say that Judge and Ohtani for the AL and NL, when it's all done, are going to be MVPs. Do you agree with that, or do you have anybody else in mind?
You talking about the regular season?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Okay.
Ohtani, Judge will be the MVPs of their respective league.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a great series. Honestly, people... Derek Jeter, when it was even talking about that, he had his dream World Series we wanted to play was against the Dodgers. Never got that chance. 7 games, guys. This is going to be an epic series.
Awesome.
7 games. I hope I'm wrong. I have the Dodgers. Chris has the Yankees.
How many games for the Dodgers?
It's going to be a 7-game
7
series. We're going
Okay.
7 games.
Okay.
But we look forward to Friday that the
Yes.
World Series begins. But before we get there, let's not forget we have Week 8 of the NFL starting things off there. So we always start things off with our Florida team, so we might as well go and start it off again. Starting with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Chris, they're taking on the Green Bay Packers. Jacksonville finally win a game in London, but they're back here in the States. They're bringing that London luck with them or what?
Well, look, you got two teams, Johnny, that are in just exactly like in totally different trajectories, right? 2-5 and 5-2. I would like to just argue with you, or maybe you agree with me, that the Packers right now for me are like a top 4 team in the NFL. And so at the end of the day, a win against New England is not going to be enough for me. That's not enough. At the end of the day, you're 2-5 for a reason. I'm going to take the Packers to win on the road. There's no reason. There's nothing that says to me that the Jaguars have any chance of winning this game. And I hate to say this, not to add salt to the wound, Johnny, but not only does the Jaguars lose, but I think now the coach is gone after this one.
Yeah, he saved his job by winning that game in London. He lost that game 100%. When he came back home, he's gone. So, I'm not impressed by a Patriot win over there. They're going against Green Bay. I do agree with you. They're a top 4 team in the NFL. It's so crazy. If they played any other division, definitely be in first place, but they're playing NFC North, and Detroit owns that for now. But still, they're right there with them. So it's going to be that division is no joke. But yes, Green Bay Packers are winning this game. At Arizona Cardinals, surprising win yesterday in an incredibly boring game going against the Miami Dolphins. The rumor is, Chris, that Tua's back. Who you got?
Well, yeah, let's take a step back. And first, I was going to do it Miami first. But let's talk about the Cardinals since you brought it up. I think that we've misjudged them, Johnny. Last week, we talked a little bit about them in a negative context. They're 3-4. And when you look at their record at 3-4, I just want to give this to you real quick. Their wins are against the Rams, the San Francisco 49ers, and the Los Angeles Chargers. Their losses, Johnny, Green Bay, Washington, Detroit, and Buffalo. Those are some hard losses, some hard games, a hard schedule, I would argue. So I'm just going to go out on the limb and say that at 3-4, they are the best 3-4 team. You think about the Cowboys and the Niners, and this Cardinal team is not a bad 3-4 team. There's also rumors that Tua is coming back this game. He's going to be practicing this week. I don't think that's enough for the Dolphins to pull this off. I'm taking the Cardinals to win. And hopefully Tua comes back and he's healthy, but Tua's going to need at least a week or two, in my opinion, to get on the swing of things. So give me the Cardinals to get to 500.
I mean, Tua's been out for several weeks. Now, I am going with the idea that Tua is going to play.
Yeah.
So assuming Tua is going to play, I'm going with Miami. I mean, Arizona, we expected. I know you said that you're high on the 3-4 team. They haven't lost. The games they lost were against good teams.
Yeah.
Were they? San Francisco a really good team now? San Francisco is like, we expected certain teams to be good and what's happening. But at the end of the day, Murray hasn't given us the season that we thought he was going to give us. There's still plenty of season left. But this Miami Dolphins team is thirsty. They've been struggling so hard with their terrible QB play. Tua coming back is going to be a shot of adrenaline. It's going to go ahead and bring Miami. Listen, I picked Miami to win a division. You picked the Jets. Both these teams are kind of lagging behind Buffalo. Yeah. But I expect a run for Miami. As long as Tua isn't a fool and starts to go in head-first dives anymore.
I see why you're picking Miami. I totally understand that. That's actually why I wanted to go over the record, because I kind of had a feeling that we were going to split this one. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to give you exact why I think that the Cardinals are a lot better than they are. But hey, you're taking Miami.
It's fine. Listen,
I get it.
Last week we both went 10-5. Yeah. We went 10-5 last week. So it was a good week for us. We can do better, but we're going to have a couple games that are obviously going to go ahead and be different.
Absolutely.
This one may or may not be. This one coming up here. Tampa Bay with that just horrendous loss, but forget the loss. Just heartbreaking defeat because of who they lost.
I don't even want to do this.
Who they lost going against their division rival in the Atlanta Falcons. Chris, now obviously the first time around Atlanta won. Last second field goal.
Overtime, yeah.
This time around, Chris, who you got?
So I really don't want to do this. I mean, guys, you're talking about two guys that we know are injured. We're depleted now at the wide receiver position, but more important, our heart's been yanked out by the Ravens. A game that in the first quarter could have been 21-0. Anyways, you guys already know what happened during that game. This is very simple for me, Johnny. I had talked to you guys before in previous episodes during spring training too in camp that the Bucs. I think I told you, Johnny. The Bucs are deep at their wide receiver position. Yeah. You got Jalen McMillan, Trey Palmer, and Sterling Shepard. These are the kind of guys that are not going to have to step up so I don't eat my words. You're going to have McMillan, who was the draft pick. I think we picked him in the 3rd or 4th round. They're going to have to step up. That's all there is to it. It's next man up mentality. It's not even that we're depleted at wide receiver, Johnny. You want to know what's the worst part about this game? We decided to make this game the crimsicle jersey game. I don't know if you guys know this. I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but the Bucs notoriously
who doesn't know that?
We play terrible with these jerseys.
Oh,
we're
yeah,
1-3.
That part of it.
We're 1-3. Like so. In other words, why couldn't you pick the crimsicle game for the Panthers? Right? Why'd you wait for the Falcons? I feel like
who you got, Chris?
I feel like I'm sorry, man.
Who
I'm
you
hurt.
got?
I'm hurt. Can you feel that? Can you hear that?
I do. I want to hear it.
I'm taking the Bucs to win this
my
game at
God.
home in a redemption game.
Mind.
I'm taking Baker Mayfield to step up.
Forever a fan.
I'm taking Baker Mayfield to step
the fan
up.
vote.
When the division,
God.
the division is on the line here.
It is on the line.
It is on the line.
No. Let me make something clear.
And if it wasn't for the crimsicle jerseys, I would have real conviction in my voice.
Listen,
that's scary. But I'm taking the Bucs to win this game. I said it.
The season is on the line. Not the division. The season. Obviously, you need to win division to get in. The season's on the line right now.
Right.
And I'm sorry. Obviously, Evans, he's down. They already said he's not coming back until after the bye week, so he's going to miss 3 or 4 weeks. And then
they're saying he's going to come back after the bye for sure.
Yeah. So and there's no for sure with a hamstring, but that's what they're hoping for.
Yeah, for sure.
And then
minimum,
Godwin, who has been the best receiver. We slept on Godwin. Godwin's been the best receiver in football up until this game here, and he was still showing it. And I'm sorry, I know that Chris and I got into a little exchange yesterday.
Don't do that.
Horrible coaching decision.
No, it's not.
Horrible.
No, it's not.
Everyone.
All right, you want to go there? We'll go there. It's not.
So I'm going right now.
Go.
Okay, the game is done. It's in hand. A minute left, and you still have Baker. You still have Godwin in there. No, if you've been watching football all this week, everybody's throwing in their backup throwing. You're not throwing out. You're throwing out McMillan. You're not throwing out Godwin. You want them to get the reps. You want to see what's up. You don't go. The game is done. Now the game exactly where I said it was going to go. That they're just going to get outmatched by the Ravens. And it's fine. You're right. There were key plays to where it could have went the Bucs' way, but it didn't because they were overmatched. It's just what it is. But horrible, horrible decision. For anybody to say that it was the right decision to leave Godwin in there with a minute left in the game that was done is just fooling themselves.
Well, then you're going to have to disagree with everyone on NFL Network. You're going to have to disagree with everyone on ESPN. You're going to basically disagree with everybody because the smartest minds of football, the people that played the game and all day and all afternoon have said this. They've said this. There's a minute left in the game. You're down by 10. You got the onside kick. You play to win the game. What you're basically telling people, this is the short end of what these guys said, and I agree with them on this. They basically said this. At the end of the day, what you're saying is if you're down by 10 with a minute left, that every single time you should wave the white flag. That's not why these guys get paid. That's not why these players play. They're hoping at the end of the day that they can get a touchdown, get an onside kick, and make a game relevant, and that's what they were there to do. So they don't the coach doesn't owe an apology. Godwin would tell you the same thing. And again, players that are commentators right now are saying the exact same thing. Don't tell me that with a minute left, with the opportunity still to be there to beat a team that you have Super Bowl implications here, that's going to happen. So this wasn't that they were down by 21 points. Mm-hmm. We had brought it all the way back to 10, and that's what happened. That's genuinely what happened. And so I disagree with you, and for the majority, a lot of analysts agree with me. So
and 100% I know you watched the game. We were texting back and forth during the game. But the people who made that comment right there, Chris has taken that. For the people who honestly, I believe, were not watching the game. If you were watching the game, on paper, you're looking at it like, oh, they're down by 10, a minute left. If you saw the game, the game was over. Yeah, well, it was over.
Remember that I'm watching it with fan eyes, so I disagree with you.
You were
watching it with fan eyes. I'm like, oh my god, if we could just get a touchdown right now.
You're watching it more than just fan eyes. You're watching it with a few of these, and you're like, hold on, it's gonna happen. Hold on.
Yeah, exactly. So you still think it's gonna happen?
It wasn't. You saw the game. They were down by 17, and then it ended up being like they got the onside kick, scored the touchdown. It's like they needed to get the onside kick again, score, and an onside kick again. The chances there is not happening. You don't risk it. You concede. You move on from it. You're still playing. You still have your things. You're not downing the ball, but you're throwing in. Fine. You want to keep Baker in there, fine. But you take Evans goes down. You can't risk your best weapon moving forward in a game that was done. It was a huge mistake, and anybody who says otherwise, other than Chris, we're either having a couple extra drinks or weren't really watching the game because the Ravens
actual
had that
retired
game in
professional Hall of Fame players, but that's okay.
They weren't watching the game. They were
look,
not watching the
at
game.
At the end of the day, this was your predictions for this week. Thank you for trying to rip my heart out again. Who do you got for this week? I know you're picking the Falcons. I hate you.
Obviously, in this particular game, it's going to be the Falcons. I mean, I had it really came down to me that game. Baker was in the MVP conversation, and he still is. He's still in the mix of things. But the way that game went, Jackson just went ahead and took a stranglehold right now, early on, of the MVP favor as an MVP favorite right now. I didn't have him as my favorite. Yeah. I had, Jordan Love. Mm-hmm. I like what I saw from him. But Baker was in the mix. We slept on Baker. We weren't mentioning him enough. But that game, he ended up okay numbers fantasy-wise, but those key turnovers just killed the Bucs, but still. All right, we're moving on from that game. I'm tired of seeing your face all pouty like that. The Minnesota Vikings, Chris, they're taking on the L.A. Rams. Who you got?
Yes, and just want to remind everybody, Florida Man Sports, we are streaming on all major platforms, so thank you for tuning in. As we look at the rest of the NFL, Johnny, the Rams, if just latest news that came out today, they're up for sale. Everyone's for sale. Kupp is for sale. Stafford's for sale. And even though they won last week, they're for sale. So that just tells us
they announced
they're on they're on rebuild mode. They're still talking, supposedly, allegedly, they're talking to Minnesota about Stafford. So at the end of the day, the team that they're playing.
Darnold just lost last week. They're in first place, but whatever.
The team that they're playing this week, which is very, very ironic when you think about it, because it's Vikings, Rams. So look, I'm taking the Vikings. At the end of the day, I know they lost last week. They are the better team. They are the healthier team as well. Again, I'm so shocked that Kupp is coming back and they're already shopping him around for a second-round pick. I can't count on a team that's shopping to win the game, so I'm taking the Vikings in this one.
Yeah, I wanted to pick the Rams with Kupp coming back. Mm-hmm. But to your point, yes, Minnesota still. I mean, they came across Detroit, my Super Bowl pick, and Detroit went ahead and won a close game. But Minnesota still, obviously, an elite team. They're going to go ahead and handle the LA Rams. The Cincinnati Bengals, Chris, they're taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. Who you got?
Yeah, this is Game of the Week alert, folks. Game of the Week. There's so much to love about this matchup from a fantasy perspective. The Bengals, Johnny, the Bengals would like you to believe that they're bouncing back, right? They would like you to believe. They want you to believe that they're for real. When you look at their wins, you're talking about Panthers, Giants, and Browns. So to me, that's not convincing enough for you to be 3-4. You're still 0-3 at home. You know how I feel about the Eagles, so do the fans. I'm taking the Eagles to continue to right their ship and beat the Bengals. Put that final nail in the coffin, if you will, because after this, there is no coming back. I think you said this a couple episodes ago, and it stands to reason that what even Burrow believes, and that is that this team is just not a championship team. So give me the Eagles to win this game.
The Bengals need to win this game to prove to not just the fans, to themselves, that they're an actual contender. And the problem is that they're not. So Philadelphia Eagles are winning this game. The Cleveland Browns, and they got better because Deshaun Watson's done for the year. They're going against your Super Bowl pick, the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah, to your point, Johnny, this is not the same Browns team that's 1-6. So this is a very rare chance where a team kind of gets to wipe the slate clean. This doesn't mean that they're a playoff team or that they're going to make the playoffs.
Jameis Winston.
But forget about everything that you knew about this Browns team other than the fact that they got a really good defense. So this could very well be a trap game if you think about it. You've got a great defense, and you got Jameis Winston who just interception or touchdown. He's going to air this thing out. All that being said, short and sweet, give me the Ravens to still win. They proved against the Bucs that they are the Super Bowl caliber team that they are. And if you are, I expect you to win these kind of games, these trap games. So give me the Ravens to win.
See, it can be a trap game, but then you look and see who the backup is, and it's Jameis Winston. And Jameis Winston is not the typical type quarterback like a Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco is a game manager, but he's an expert at dissecting defenses, figuring things out. He doesn't have a killer arms or anything else there, but obviously Flacco, we'll get to that. Flacco is this Colts team is a much better team with Flacco than Richardson.
Sure.
So that type of example.
And Flacco's a Super Bowl champion, too.
Yes,
so it's
I get it, but that was 100 years ago.
Yeah.
But with Winston, are they a better team with Winston than Watson? Yes, they're a better team with Christian being the QB than Watson.
You've seen my arm.
But still, the Baltimore Ravens, they're just going to outclass them. It's not going to be close. Baltimore's winning this game. The Tennessee Titans, Chris, they're taking on the Detroit Lions. My Super Bowl pick. Who you got?
So listen, Johnny, the Lions, they got to start losing at some point, right? You got to think about this.
Okay.
Okay, now hear me.
Oh my God!
This could
still
be
on it.
this could be
Okay.
upset
All
game
right.
of the week
Okay,
alert,
sure.
folks.
Okay,
This is what it
sure.
could be. I'm just kidding. No, look, I've been hard on the Lions.
Finally, are you coming on?
I've been hard on the
All right,
Lions.
all right, you gave up.
I'm not saying that they're
You
going to
gave
win.
up your crusade.
I'm not saying they're going to win 10 games, but I am saying they're going to win this week at home. The Titans, man, it's full blown sophomore slump. I don't think Levis is playing this week because he's injured. So the Lions are winning at home. Don't overthink this one, right? What do you think?
Yeah, well, let me apologize from last week. Understand something though. I was going off of that because Levis was supposed to play. He was a late scratch, and now he may not play. I mean, come on.
Right.
I was going off that information that Levis was going to play, and he wasn't. I have no faith in their backup. So no. Against this particular team, I got Detroit, my Super Bowl pick. Even though you keep calling them to lose, and you finally came to your senses.
I'm not saying they're
going
winning
to
10 games. I'm saying they're winning this week. That's all I'm saying.
Detroit's going to win this game.
Okay.
The New England Patriots going against the rivals, your rivals there. Your pick to win the East, the Jersey Jets. Chris, what you got?
Something's got to give this game. I mean, first, before I give you my predictions, let me just ask you a question.
Yeah.
How's your boy done for the Patriots? How's he doing?
Drake May?
Yeah.
I'm not impressed.
Compared to Jones.
I mean, I'm not going to compare him to Jones.
Okay.
Jones had a different coach, had
Okay.
a whole different system. So at the end of the day, okay, if you're going to do that card, then obviously he looks better than Mac Jones.
All right, good. So you're off to a good start. But
Well, remember, Mac Jones he had a good first year, then just fell off the cliff.
So look, folks. At the end of the day, I believe in the Rodgers and Devontae Adams connection. It's too big to fail, at least against the Patriots. I'm taking the Jets to win this game. I know that these divisional games can be so tough, and I get all that. But at the end of the day, now they get a full week of training with each other. Jets win this game.
I mean, the Pats have owned the Jets. I think we won something ridiculous, like 14 straight or something, and then we lost earlier in this year against them. So then. Yeah, we're going to lose again because the Patriots are not a good team. They've won one game. They won that upset game against the Bengals, and they were projected 3 wins. This guy was over here telling you how they're good, they're good, they're good. They're not good.
I didn't say they're good. I said
They're
expect
good.
to win 5 games.
They're good.
Don't try
They're
to change
not
my
good.
words.
They're not good.
I wonder.
Keep
I wonder what
losing.
they would be if they would have had Drake May from the beginning.
Oh my God!
I'm just saying.
Are you
I'm
kidding me?
throwing it out there.
Are you kidding me?
I'm just saying.
Get out of here, man. Get out. This team is not very good, and they're not gonna. They're gonna beat. They're going to lose to a team that's not very good because the Jets aren't very good either, but they're better than the Patriots right now, so they'll go ahead and win it now. So enjoy it while you can. Indianapolis Colts, they're going to, I would imagine, from what I'm hearing, starting Richardson, going against the Houston Texans. Chris, who you got?
Yes. So the Texans are at home. They're undefeated at home, Johnny. They're 3-0. I trust the Texans on defense. When it comes to offense, guess what? I trust the Texans over the Colts. This is the game where I think not only do the Texans win, but they start to create that division as far as the win column goes because the Colts are right up there. So give me the Texans to win and create that separation for the division.
I'm just going to say it. I don't have any faith. I think that it's time to kind of look past Richardson. Richardson is just, forget the fact that he's injury prone, which is obviously is an issue going on moving forward with that. But I still, when you bring in a 45-year-old quarterback and your team wins, always looks good. He has things to point. And then you bring this kid in, and the team looks lost. He doesn't.
Disagree.
So I'm sorry, I don't like Richardson at the helm against this Houston Texans team. It's not going to be that close. I honestly see Houston win this game by double digits. So it's going to be a 10 to 13 point loss. But the Houston Texans are winning this game.
Yeah, we both pick Houston, Johnny, real quick, but I disagree with you on Richardson. I don't think it's fair for his rookie year, having a great rookie year, gets hurt, and has yet to complete a full season. Again, injuries unfortunately happen in the NFL. But when you look at Richardson, you look at Levis. Now he's a sophomore slump. I would bail on him right now before Richardson. I still think Richardson needs more time, in my opinion.
Like Levis had a decent rookie year. This year he's had a couple games and he's been injured. So
he's been falling off the map.
So he has, you called the slump, and it has been, but he hasn't really had much to really show. But when you see a team like this, they look night and day when Flacco's leading it. When Flacco's leading this, they have a chance to win. That's the reason why the Browns were a playoff team last year. Watson goes down, Flacco comes in, he's a playoff team. This is a playoff team, the Colts. But under Richardson, it's not. So good luck, but you're not winning a game, not against Houston with Richardson. The New Orleans Saints, who looked terrible on Thursday night last week, are going against the Chargers, who looked terrible on Monday night, who can't score a touchdown. Well, yeah, sure, if you need a kicker, Dicker's your guy. He's going to kick 18 field goals, but the offense is a mess. Defensively, they're good. Who you got, Chris?
So the Saints supposedly may make another change at quarterback this week. We don't know. That remains to be seen. Derek Carr should be practicing this week, but again, he's still not 100% if he's going to play. He's still questionable. You add on the fact that Shaheed is out. He's out for the rest of the year with that injury. Hill is still questionable. So at the end of the day, I'm taking the Chargers to win at home. Even if Carr comes back this week, I'm always iffy, if you guys haven't figured it out yet, on players that come right back from an injury, how they're going to respond. In the NFL, they try to sometimes push you to come back too early. So give me the Chargers to win at home because ultimately, Johnny, I think they're the better team and they're the healthier team. I know that's not saying much because both teams are 2-5 and 3-3, but I'm taking the Chargers.
But as terrible as both teams looked last week, my God, did the Saints look so much worse. So no. I don't care. No. The Chargers, you'll win it with field goals. It's fine. Chargers are going to win this game. The Saints, without Carr, and obviously they don't have any receivers. Some people will call you and give you advice and say, pick up Meade. Terrible advice. It just doesn't work out.
He had the second most points for you at wide receiver. He did the second best.
That's irrelevant.
That's irrelevant. That's irrelevant.
You should have given me better advice. You should have picked this person. You specifically chose him. Horrible.
Second most points in your team, and your team still lost.
That was the second most points in my team.
Wide receiver.
Okay, well, you have two. You have two wide receivers.
And a flex.
Yeah, but the flex wasn't there. But ultimately, we both know that the New Orleans Saints are just not good right now. So, no, I'm going with the Chargers. The Buffalo Bills are taking on the Seattle Seahawks at home in Seattle. Who you got, Chris?
So the Seahawks, as Johnny always likes to say, they did what they needed to do last week. They ended up winning this game that they needed to because I had mentioned the schedule coming up is just atrocious for them. They are playing at Lumen Field. We know what that's like. But at the end of the day, folks, the Bills are getting a full week of Cooper and Allen in practice, and that to me is the outlier for me. It's supposedly -3. I'm saying 7 points or less. It should be still a close game, but I'm taking the Bills to upset the Seahawks at home.
I don't know. Are they the favorite?
It's Buffalo -3, so it's like a close. They're saying a -3. I'm saying it's going to be 7 points or less.
Yeah, sorry, Buffalo is the favorite.
Is the favorite? Yeah.
Yeah. No,
I meant upset at home in the sense that it's Lumen Field and
I get it. I get what you're saying there, but still at Lumen Field, Buffalo is the favorite by 3 points. Mm-hmm. That being said, no, Geno Smith is actually playing really well. Seattle's going to win this game. If this game was in Buffalo, I would give the edge to Buffalo, but the fact that they're playing in Seattle's going to give them that edge. Seattle Seahawks, Geno Smith are winning this game.
Since previous years, you really like the Seahawks. I feel like deep down you're a Seahawk fan, man.
No, I like Pete Carroll for the Patriot roots, but he's gone, so no. But I just like Seattle in this game against Buffalo. Listen, we talked about Buffalo, and Buffalo isn't as good as people think they are. Hey, they've overachieved. They won the games they shouldn't have, and they're obviously in first place in the East. Yeah. But that's mainly because the Jets are the Jets, and everybody in the Miami has been using college quarterbacks. So that's the reason. They're in first place by default, not because they've been dominant. Seattle's winning this game; they're a better team. The Carolina Panthers are playing the Denver Broncos. Chris, who you got?
Come on, folks, you guys listening. You know how high I am on Bo Nix. He gave you another great week last week in the sense that he didn't find Sutton for the first time all season long. It's very rare that Sutton doesn't have one reception. That was the outlier last week, but he still ran. He still gave you good averages. He still gave you 14, 15 points in Fantasy World. I expect more of the same. I expect 18 to 22 points from Bo Nix this week. They're at home. I don't have anything for the Panthers, Johnny, any trust or that matter for the Panthers. We may even see Bryce Young in this game, folks. It may be time to bring him back. Listen, they got away from Bryce Young because they wanted to win some games. That didn't happen. They're at 1-6. So maybe Bryce Young comes back. It's not going to help anyway. Broncos win this game.
This is the turd of the week. I'm not going to bother to tune into this game. I'll check in because I have Hubbard in my fantasy team.
Turd of the week. Wow.
This is a terrible game,
sir.
This is a terrible game.
Sir.
The Carolina Panthers, Denver Broncos, both two terrible teams. But Broncos are a better team than Carolina because most teams are. So no, Carolina is going to lose to the Denver Broncos. It's not that complicated. The Vegas This game isn't complicated either.
I was
The
gonna say,
Las
you're talking about
Vegas
turd of the week. You're
Raiders.
talking about turd of the week.
No, because you'll always see, it's still a divisional game, and the Raiders do pull off a win against Kansas City every now and then, Chris. They
Oh,
do.
do they
Every
now? Oh,
year.
do they?
Every year they
Okay.
win one of them every year. So it's going to continue this trend here. The Las Vegas Raiders taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. Chris, who you got?
Well, I just find it very rare and very unfair that the NFL gives the Chiefs not one but 2 bye weeks. I think that's what I feel about this week. It's like at the end of the day, the rich get richer. You know, I have no trust in the Raiders whatsoever. They keep flip-flopping at quarterback. Now one of their quarterbacks is hurt, so Minshew by default has to be there. I think they also picked up from another team from the practice squad, another QB. So nothing is going right for the Raiders. I don't expect this upset thing to happen. I'm not going to fall for it, Johnny. Chiefs win this game.
Well,
Please pick the Raiders.
The Raiders just announced that they are signing, I believe his name is Ritter, the quarterback for the Falcons
that's what it is.
last year. So they're a mess, dude. It's not their fault. At the end of the day, it's just always an issues with the Raiders. Personnel issues. They don't have any receivers. Their defense is suspect. They're not really trying hard. You have an issue with quarterbacks, and you're expecting this team to beat Kansas City. Come on. It's Kansas City against good. Kansas City could easily be a 2-win team. They won 2 real games.
Yeah, no, you're right.
They're undefeated,
You're right.
but 2 real games they won. The rest of refs again gave it to them. NFL gave it to them.
Which is why, to your point, I see this game like as a tune-up game. I see this as a game to get Patrick Mahomes right. Tune yourself up. Get yourself ready because, to your point, they shouldn't have won as many games as they did. So, good opportunity for them.
Listen, the Kansas City isn't as good as everybody says they are or Kansas City thinks they are. And the Raiders are as bad as we all think they are. It's just what it is. They're not good enough to beat even a suspect team like the Chiefs. Chiefs will win this game, guys.
Yeah, I agree.
The Washington Commanders, they're taking on the Chicago Bears. Chris, who you got?
Yeah, this is the rookie QB battle of the year.
Maybe.
Let's go. Yeah, I expect Jaden Daniels to play unless the coach just decides to not. I mean, I don't know if you can even pull those cards because I don't see how Jaden Daniels wants to stay away from this game. Right? I don't see how you can keep him away from this game. So even if it doesn't happen, let's just play both out because you always say it doesn't matter whether the player plays or not. Who are you taking? You always ask me. Mm-hmm. I'm taking the Commanders no matter what. Even if it's Mariota, that's the quarterback. I'm hoping it's Daniels. I'm hoping for the rookie shootout. And I'm going to take the rookie of the year, Jaden Daniels, to beat the Bears coming off the bye week.
If Jaden Daniels was going to play, then I would pick the Washington Commanders as well. I don't think he's going to play because I don't think Jaden Daniels is going to play. Like you're saying, like what can doctors are going to keep him off.
Well, that's what I'm saying, coach.
So,
whatever, yeah.
No, I don't think Jaden Daniels is going to play, and this Commanders team cannot win without him. Listen, I forgot Mariota was still in the league. No. I was like, oh my God, he's still here. Okay, all right. He's a good backup. I really like watching him in Oregon. He's a good QB. But no, the Chicago defense is the number 2 defense in the league right now. And you expecting Mariota to go ahead and do something with that defense? No, that's the number 2 defense. So I expect the Chicago Bears to handle business and win this game against the Washington Commanders / Redskins. Your boys, Chris, the Dallas Cowboys.
I don't think my boys. So.
Your boys. And I think they were the first team, I think in history, that actually lost a bye week. But they're going to come back and they're winning. I mean, they're going to go ahead and play in against the San Francisco 49ers. Who you got, Chris?
Sweeping declarations, folks. Again, Florida Man Sports here, streaming on all platforms. You ready? Mm-hmm. The loser of this game is missing the playoffs. When you look at the divisions, when you look at the records, the loser of this game is not making the playoffs, period. Short and sweet, Cowboys are going to win this one. The Niners, kind of like the Bucs, suffered a lot of losses. How many injuries happened during that game as well?
You're right.
You got Samuel, he's got pneumonia. Look at that.
Debo's gone.
I can't even believe he was there with pneumonia.
Ayuk is gone for the season.
Yep. So I can't trust the Niners. And watching Purdy, there's something that is wrong there. He is not the Purdy of last year. I don't know if it's the Niner curse. I don't know what it is, Lewis, but I'm taking the Cowboys to win, and I'm going to just say it again and rip the Band-Aid. The Niners are going to miss the playoffs this year.
Well, I mean, nobody wanted to hear me when I was saying preseason that the Niners are going to fall off. Now, I did say it started off with the Madden curse with CMC. and I urge you guys not to go ahead and pick him number 1 overall in your fantasy teams. That something's not happening right there, and then something's going to give. I said the KC is going to go ahead and the NFL and the refs are going to gift them, so it has to be San Francisco going to fall off, and they have, and they got hit hard. They got hit hard, probably harder than even Tampa, but Dallas. Did you watch the Dallas Cowboys, Chris, against Detroit? That defense is horrendous. The defense is a mess. So as bad as San Francisco has it, I'm sorry, they're still going to find a way to beat them boys. So San Francisco 49ers are going to beat a terrible, terrible Dallas Cowboys team with an owner. I'm sorry?
Lawrence is back on defense.
Lawrence?
Yeah, for the Cowboys.
Yeah. Whatever. Come back. Okay. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
It doesn't matter because that's one player, Chris.
Okay.
The secondary was pretty bad. So Parsons, is Parsons back?
No, I don't think so.
So there we go. So that's the key right there for you have for the Cowboys. So you don't have any pressure for Purdy. So Purdy, I know you had a lot of things going on here that he didn't look himself.
He's not himself, man. Let's just be real. He's not himself.
He was fine. He's fine. He doesn't have the weapons he has. He is.
Yeah, I know. And he looks very generic. 9 touchdowns, 7 interceptions on the season. Yeah. Now he loses his guys. I don't know, John. Well, that's fine.
I know he does look generic. But you know who looks worse? Dak Prescott. So that's why I'm going with San Francisco to win this game against Dallas. The Jersey Giants, Chris, they're going against my boy Russell Wilson, who's taking over. What you got?
Why hasn't the coach been fired yet? I mean, it's an honest question. Seriously, Florida Man Sports streaming on all platforms. It's a genuine, honest question. You're sitting at 2-5. You're benching your quarterback already. Now you're saying that he's going to play again. I don't understand why. Maybe it's going to take this Steeler win. That's who's going to win, the Steelers, to finally pull the trigger, and maybe the coach gets fired. I don't want to be so negative. I think it's time for the Giants to have a change. Period. Steelers did well with Wilson. Great plan. You proved everybody wrong with Fields. Obviously, for at least one game, Wilson is the better option. So yeah, Steelers win, and the Steelers, man, give them credit. They'll be 6-2 after this one.
I was going to ask you if you thought that was the right move, because I know you've been like, my God, I got so tired of hearing people like, but Fields.
The problem, Johnny, I think it was a good move because obviously they won, and in the third and fourth quarter they looked like a really good team. But you would always say this, correct me if I'm wrong. This was against the Jets, right? So take it with a grain of salt. Let's see.
So now the Jets are trash. You're talk them up.
Hold on.
And then it's like,
not that they're trash, but this was they didn't even get a week with Devontae Adams on that team.
Listen,
so that's what I'm saying. This is not going to be the same Jets team 3 weeks from now.
No.
That's my point.
It's irrelevant.
So I would like to see Wilson 2-3 weeks in a row do well.
Irrelevant.
You asked, I'm answering.
Yes, but Russell Wilson isn't facing Devontae Adams. He's facing that defense. And the Jets defense is a top 5 defense in the league. So listen, if you that's a fact. They're a top 5 defense in the league, and you looking at. Listen, you looked at Russell Wilson that first quarter. It's like, man, he was rough, but the guy was out of football for a year and a half.
Yeah, he settled in,
and he scored the most points that Pittsburgh scored all season. He looked good. Yes, Pickens really helped him out a lot with some of those passes he threw. But at the end of the day, it gives the Steelers team. That's what Tomlin was talking about. Who's going to help me win a Super Bowl? You and I don't think Pittsburgh's going to win a Super Bowl, but I respect the coach that's going, no, I'm going to try to win a Super Bowl. I don't care about winning.
They addressed
9 games.
They addressed the problem last year. The problem last year was what for Pittsburgh? If you watch
their offense.
Yeah, the quarterback. Horrible. The quarterback. Who's going to throw the ball? And so they did a great job of addressing it this year. Kudos to the coach, 100%.
I haven't been high on Fields. Yeah. I understand. Everybody wants to talk about like the trajectory, like he has all this talent.
Yeah,
he's had the opportunity. We've seen less from other quarterbacks that have shown you more.
So you picked the Steelers to win, right? You pick the Steelers?
Yeah, I picked the Steelers.
And look, ultimately, the Fields debate isn't over. If anything, it just began because ultimately they're going to stick with Wilson the rest of the year, but Wilson's not going to be there for 3-4 years. In other words, this could help Fields. Fields in the future. Fields will be there 2 or 3 years from now.
No, what? Yes. That's okay. I know you want to move on from this, but yes. One, Russell Wilson is what, 36?
Yeah, he's older. He's 36 or 37.
Okay, so he's not going to be there in 2 or 3 years. I'm like, he could be,
but he's not.
Why? Why?
It's what is the percentage of players? He's already passed that beacon. I think quarterbacks reach 33. I think 34 is the average age before retirement. So it would be just like a Brady
We're not
almost
talking
where you're
about.
continuing
We're
to
not
play.
talking about
I'm just saying, I'm
average.
answering,
I get
I'm
what
answering
you're
your
saying.
question. So that's why you would imagine that the people like the Rodgers, like the Bradys, these are rarities. They're not the they're not the rule. You know what I mean? So
Here's the problem. Fields, if he agrees to be like, listen, man, I can see
Yes.
Pittsburgh re-signing both these guys, but saying, Fields, you're the backup. I'm signing you as at backup money, which is going to be less than what you're making now. And, okay, you still haven't proven that you can lead a team to anything.
We're kind of arguing the same thing. I'm saying something similar to the effect of, look, I want you to sit down and watch Wilson for one more year. And then you got the helm for the next 8-9 years in Pittsburgh. That's what I'm saying.
If Wilson leads this team, very much like Baker, leads this team to one playoff victory, he's going to get a contract. Yeah. He's going to go ahead and get a similar 3-year, $100 million contract type of thing there. I think he will. So we'll see what happens here. But I have no faith in Justin Fields.
Well, listen, folks. These are the Week 8 predictions, like Johnny mentioned earlier. Man, we really can't miss. We're giving you 10 or more, 12 or more. So definitely tune into this. Let's switch gears here, Johnny. Talk a little bit waiver wire because, again, talking about not missing. Just real quick, last week I told you guys about Bo Nix as far as him giving you a nice flex option. Johnny told you last week about Trevor Lawrence. In fact, he said he may do better than Patrick Mahomes. That's exactly what happened, right? These weren't sexy points. It was 14, 15 points by Bo Nix, 16 or 17 points by Trevor Lawrence, but still better than what Patrick Mahomes produced. Correct. So you definitely want to listen to this waiver wire pickups, Johnny. Get us started. Who do you have for the waiver wire pickup? Top of your list.
I'm sorry to bring it up again, Chris, but the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are decimated at the wide receiver position. So because they do not have Mike Evans, they don't have Chris Godwin, they're going to look to other players there, and I want to go ahead and put a big spotlight on Jalen McMillan. Obviously, you mentioned him, second and third round pick for the Bucs there. He's only rostered on 1.5% of actual leagues. Nobody's really picking this kid up. He's fast. He does have good hands. They have to look elsewhere. There's other options. You have Sterling Shepard. I understand that's an option for you there. You have Palmer options there. But I like McMillan. I like him to be essentially the primary target for Baker moving to this next week coming up here. So while you have Godwin gone for the year and Evans gone for several weeks, McMillan could be your guy. Pick him up.
Yeah, actually, it's so funny. We don't ever check these things before we go into this, and that's literally who I have at the top of my list. I have McMillan number 1, and then I have Palmer and Shepard as number 2 or 3 options because Shepard goes back. He had all that experience in Oklahoma with Baker Mayfield, so he's got the connection there. But to your point, McMillan has the higher ceiling. All of these guys, Johnny, I mean, Shepard and Palmer, they're all rostered less than 1%. Like you said, McMillan, 1 point something. Against the Ravens, he already had 8 targets. So to your point, there it is.
Yeah, he was third in the team in targets last week here, and that is going to go up.
100%.
So.
You have another guy in your list there as far as waiver wire pickups. I have someone for the Browns. So
No.
So I've got Cedric Tillman as an option for you from the Browns. Look, ultimately, Jameis Winston, whether you like it or love it, he's going to air out that ball. Judy is like the low fruit. I feel like a lot of people are going to think about Judy. But Cedric Tillman, man, you're talking about a second-year pro, 6'3", 215 pounds. I expect 8 or more targets his way this week. So you're talking about a 12 to 17-point flex option. Look for Cedric Tillman. He's rostered in 1% of leagues, Johnny.
I mean, whenever the quarterback goes down, or obviously the primary and the secondary receivers go down, you have to look at those teams for other options. So Tampa is obviously a primary look at. New Orleans, I know that with Carr gone, you had talked to me about some other options. There's look at New Orleans, even though the problem is with New Orleans is that quarterback, but still you have to look at them because now the primaries are available. You have a number 1 wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2. It's available on teams in the Browns who traded away everybody. Now Watson's gone. So now you want to see what is Jameis Winston going to do. So that's a good option for him with the Browns. So think about it, guys. Figure out what you want. But you know, we like Tampa and our guys here with McMillan for the most part.
Yeah, those are some good waiver wire pickups for you today. Now, let's talk a little bit of stardom, Sidham, Johnny. These people I handpicked for you guys, and I know that Johnny wasn't too excited about why I picked them, but I'm going to tell you why I picked them before I tell you.
Go ahead.
Tell them to start with Sidham. Let's start with Cooper Kupp. Okay. Back from injury. Breaking news, he's trade bait. And there's a lot of people, they did not release him. They held him. Now they're trying to play him this week. It's an honest question for Cooper Kupp. He's trade bait. Are you starting him or are you sitting him this week?
It's a no-brainer. You're starting him. He, obviously, before he went out, he was the top dog. He was killing. People were questioning him. He's coming back. Has he fallen off? No. He was like he had like 18 targets, 100 yards receiving, 11 catches. It was something insane. A couple touchdowns. He was doing everything he needed to do. And the fact that the spotlight's on him, he may be trade bait. Why is he not going to want to perform?
See, that's where I was going to go, Johnny. Typically, when somebody becomes trade bait, they either are limited in snap count. They don't want them to get re-hurt. They don't want them to get re-injured. So, are you having any kind of those fears before you just say start him?
This is not going to apply for Cooper Kupp. Why? Because he has to show teams that he's good. So I get it. You're right. If this was anything else, but he's been out for 4 weeks. So now it's kind of like he has to produce a good game. An excellent game, and then teams are like, okay, he's still got it. He's good. He's come back from injury, but he's fine. Now, the following week he'll be traded. You know, if what you're referencing, he's worth a second-round pick.
That was going to be my bonus question on Cooper Kupp is if he's worth the second-round pick, and then just off your top of your head, where do you think he should go?
This dude is a triple crown. He won the triple crown, only him and Jerry Rice. That's it. Like, this guy is legit. Arguably, you can argue that he's
missed 17 games in 3 years.
Yes, but that's why. Like, forget about that part of it.
Okay.
Well, I'll tell you this: if Adams wasn't worth a second-round pick, then I don't think they're going to get a second-round pick for Cooper. I think they're going to get a similar thing, a third-round pick, and maybe something else here. So we'll see what happens with it. But with Cooper Kupp, I mean, there's a couple different options.
Johnny's saying definitely start him this week.
You're definitely going to go and start Cooper Kupp for everything I mentioned because he's auditioning right now. But I'll get back to where I think he should go. There's a couple different options there. But, I mean, honestly, if he was available before the Jets picked up Vontae Adams, the Jets would be in contention. But with Adams, it's not going to happen now. But we'll get back to it. But what do you think?
Cooper Kupp. I was going to say bench him. I'm not going to give any opinions on this one because we've just been on fire with start him or sit him. So if you're saying start him, that's what we want people to do. I'm going to back you up on it.
Okay.
Let's talk about Rachaad White and why Rachaad White's made the list, Johnny. You're talking about a guy who was an afterthought. Everybody was on the Bucky Irving train, and he became an afterthought. If you were smart, at the very least, you kept him on your bench. And then this last week, if you didn't start him, you're hurt, and he gave you 29 points, second most points by running backs. You got all the injuries that the Bucs are depleted on. Rachaad White, after the 29 points, Johnny, do you start him or sit him?
You already kind of answered that for me. At the end of the day, this is the depleted Buccaneers team. And when you're that depleted at a wide receiver position, then you're going to go to familiar targets. And Baker's going to look to even more to go ahead and dump passes off to White. Yes, Bucky's still going to be involved. Tucker still looks good. This is a really good, backfield for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they're going to depend on them more than ever. Dude, you got enough. Evans and Godwin are the face, outside of Baker, of Tampa Bay football, and they're gone. So, yes, the next man up is White. So, White is the dude. So, White needs to show up, expend a lot more screen passes. Yes, they're going to go ahead and still mix in Bucky, still mix in Tucker, but still
start him confident as an RB1 or as a flex?
No, flex.
Flex. Okay.
Flex he's that guy. You can't because that backfield is too talented. And Bucky's going to get his shots. Even Tucker is going to get his shots. But as a flex option, absolutely go ahead and start White.
Rachaad White didn't just make the list because I have him on my team. I just popped in because a lot of fans want to know. Let's talk about start him, sit him, Johnny, with Tyreek Hill and Jaden Wallen because Tua is back. And you called it. This is why I had you do start him, sit him this week. And you called it when you said Tyreek Hill needs to hit the bench. Tua's back. I think you picked Miami to win. Start him or sit him.
Tua's back, guys. So you guys know the answer to this. As long as Tua is the quarterback. Now, that's the risk you take because the dude is Mr. Glass. And the dude can go ahead and out of nowhere be out and you're screwed. But you got to go ahead and roll the dice with Tua as the starting quarterback. With Tua there, Waddle and Hill are elite. When he's not there, then forget about it. Just go ahead and put him because you're guaranteeing yourself single digits fantasy-wise without Tua. Tua's there. The upside's there. You're finally going to get the deep threat with Hill. And when you get the deep threat with Hill, you have the slot option with Waddle. So you have those guys, Waddle, Hill. As long as Tua's a starter, it's common sense.
I know you picked them again. This is why I'm bringing this up, and I'll be devil's advocate here, man. Look, at the end of the day, I get it. You picked them to win too, but again, coming off of injury, getting back in sync, You're telling me, are they flex? Are you putting Hill at flex, or he's a wide receiver 1 again? He's ready to be start.
This isn't no RB1 or
Wide
receiver 1.
Okay.
This is not the first time that Tua's done this. Tua's already had experience of coming back from this exact same injury. So if this was what happened last time, and we didn't with too many unknowns, but the dude has went through all the evaluations, everything else has been practicing, everything else here. So yeah, if he's ready to come back and play, then he already knows what's up. This isn't new for him. It's like riding a bike, and obviously a lot of people will question them going ahead and bring him back to us. You want to retire. We had this discussion in previous shows. That's irrelevant. He's going to play. As long as he's going to play, he's going to go ahead and do everything he can to produce for the Dolphins, and it means positive things for Hill and Waddle.
The guy that said to bench Hill, and he was right. Start him or set him, folks. Time to start him.
Guys, we appreciate you guys watching. Please go ahead and like, share, everything you want here. We have obviously available on all podcasts, Apple Podcasts, iHeart. But please continue to go ahead and support us. We appreciate it. Chris, any take on real quick before we go? WNBA, that they announced that the WNBA teams, the women in the league, have opted out of the CBA. You're okay with that?
Absolutely not. I mean, ultimately, and I want to see this. If they're profitable, this will be the first time they're profitable since their existence. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
So WNBA, what are you arguing about? Be thankful, be graceful, be happy. What do they want? They're expecting to go from $70,000 a season to $1 million. It's not going to happen.
I just find it hilarious.
What are they expecting?
That a league, for the most part, were hating on Caitlin Clark.
Right.
The reason they were slightly profitable this year, was because of Caitlin Clark, and now because of that, they want to go, give me a raise on all these things. They want more money. They want more benefits.
Ain't that crazy?
This is your first time being profitable in 30-plus years. Okay, and now you want to go ahead and do this. Go ahead, owners. Hold your ground. Let them lock out. Let's see. Let's go. That's why I say go ahead and let them go ahead and hold it down, see what's up with them. But
Terrible.
It's a joke. But we appreciate you guys listening, guys. Thanks again. I just wanted to get Chris's take on that. But listen again next week. Obviously, we're going to be in the middle of the World Series. Obviously, Week 9 and all our fantasy advice, guys. But Johnny, this is Chris. Ding. Later.
We out, y'all.